welcome to giant / mutated space potato.
Sometimes feel that we're linked in this life. We weren't put here to be linked. Don't you believe it? We sometimes feel the shadows that hold of us, the shadows of evil. Still, it's up to us to fight.
Lesson 1 of Lessons on Manners for Home and School Use. Outline for Blackboard. Manners in general. Quotation about manners. Golden rule. Need of constant practice. Learning by observation. Quotation.
Let's have some fun. Let's invite our friends to a Polynesian whinding. A beautiful dinner with a tropical accent. A hula-lee, as they say in Hawaii.
And we all wear leis about our necks and sit on the floor on mats and eat poi with our fingers and roast pig.
Not so fast, my dear. Leis about our necks, yes. But we don't go native. That's fine in Hawaii. But we live on the mainland.
Two numbers are reciprocals of each other if their product is 1. 2/3 and 3/2 are reciprocals because their product is 6/6 or 1. The reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2 because the product of 2/5 and 5/2 is 10/10 or 1.
It may not be amiss to devote a few words to our commercial integrity, of which I have heard much complaint in foreign books and journals. A loose business morality has indeed been the worst blot on our national reputation. Let us calmly study it, and we shall be rewarded with consolation for the future. Of all the great occupations of life, none was farther removed from the profession of arms than commerce. The merchant was placed lowest in the category of vocations. The knight, the tiller of the soil, the mechanic, the merchant. The samurai derived his income from land and could even indulge, if he had a mind to, in amateur farming, but the counter and abacus were abhorred. We knew the wisdom of this social arrangement. Montesquieu has made it clear that the debarring of the nobility from mercantile pursuits was an admirable social policy, in that it prevented wealth from accumulating in the hands of the powerful. The separation of power and riches kept the distribution of the latter more nearly equable. Professor Dill, the author of Roman Society in the Last Century of the Western Empire, has brought afresh to our mind that one cause of the decadence of the Roman Empire was the permission given to the nobility to engage in trade, and the consequent monopoly of wealth and power by a minority of the senatorial families. Commerce, therefore, in feudal Japan did not reach that degree of development which it would have attained under freer conditions. The obloquy attached to the calling naturally brought within its pale such as cared little for social repute. Call one a chief and he will steal. Put a stigma on a calling and its followers adjust their morals to it, for it is natural that the normal conscience rises to the demands made on it and easily falls to the limit of the standard expected from it. It is unnecessary to add that no business, commercial or otherwise, can be transacted without a code of morals. Our merchants of the feudal period had one among themselves, without which they could never have developed, as they did, such fundamental mercantile institution as the guild, the bank, the bourse, insurance, checks, bills of exchange, etc. But in their relations with people outside their vocation, the tradesmen lived too true to the reputation of their order. This being the case, when the country was open to foreign trade, only the most adventurous and unscrupulous rushed to the ports, while the respectable business houses declined for some time the repeated requests of the authorities to establish branch houses. Was Bushido powerless to stay the current of commercial dishonor? Let us see. Those who are well acquainted with our history will remember that only a few years after our treaty ports were opened to foreign trade, feudalism was abolished, and when with it the samurai's fiefs were taken and bonds issued to them in compensation, they were given liberty to invest them in mercantile transactions. Now you may ask, why could they not bring their much boasted veracity into their new business relations and so reform the old abuses? Those who had eyes to see could not weep enough. Those who had hearts to feel could not sympathize enough with the fate of many a noble and honest samurai who signally and irrevocably failed in his new and unfamiliar field of trade and industry, through sheer lack of shrewdness in coping with his artful plebeian rival. When we know that 80% of the business houses fail in so industrial a country as America, is it any wonder that scarcely one among 100 samurai who went into trade could succeed in his new vocation? It will be long before it will be recognized how many fortunes were wrecked in the attempt to apply Bushido ethics to business methods. But it was soon patent to every observing mind that the ways of wealth were not the ways of honor. In which respects, then, were they different? Of the three incentives to veracity that Lecky enumerates, that is, the industrial, the political, and the philosophical, the first was altogether lacking in Bushido. As to the second, it could develop little in a political community under a feudal system. It is in its philosophical, and as Lecky says, in its highest aspect, that honesty attained elevated rank in our catalogue of virtues. With all my sincere regard for the high commercial integrity of the Anglo-Saxon race, when I ask for the ultimate ground, I am told that honesty is the best policy, that it pays to be honest. Is not this virtue, then, its own reward? If it is followed because it brings in more cash than falsehood, I am afraid Bushido would rather indulge in lies. If Bushido rejects a doctrine of quid pro quo rewards, the shrewder tradesman will readily accept it. Lecky has very truly remarked that veracity owes its growth largely to commerce and manufacture. As Nietzsche puts it, honesty is the youngest of virtues. In other words, it is the foster child of industry, of modern industry. Without this mother, veracity was like a blue-blood orphan whom only the most cultivated mind could adopt and nourish. Such minds were general among the samurai, but, for want of a more democratic and utilitarian foster mother, the tender child failed to thrive. Industries advancing, veracity will prove an easy, nay, a profitable virtue to practice. Just think, as late as November 1880, Bismarck sent a circular to the professional consuls of the German Empire, warning them of a lamentable lack of reliability with regard to German shipments inter alia, apparent both as to quality and quantity. Nowadays we hear comparatively little of German carelessness and dishonesty in trade. In 20 years her merchants learned that in the end honesty pays. Already our merchants are finding that out. For the rest, I recommend the reader to two recent writers for well-weighed judgment on this point. It is interesting to remark in this connection that integrity and honor were the surest guarantees which even a merchant debtor could present in the form of promissory notes. It was quite a usual thing to insert such clauses as these: "In default of the repayment of the sum lent to me, I shall say nothing against being ridiculed in public," or "In case I fail to pay you back, you may call me a fool," and the like. Often have I wondered whether the veracity of Bushido had any motive higher than courage. In the absence of any positive commandment against bearing false witness, lying was not condemned as sin, but simply denounced as weakness, and, as such, highly dishonorable. As a matter of fact, the idea of honesty is so intimately blended, and its Latin and its German etymology so identified with honor, that it is high time I should pause a few moments for the consideration of this feature of the precepts of knighthood.
Freedom isn't just a big word. It is the morning and the bread and the risen sun. It was for freedom we came to these shores in boats and ships. It was a long journey, a hard one and a bitter one. Yes, there is sadness in being a man. But it is a proud thing, too. And out of the suffering and the starvation and the wrong and the right, a new thing has come. A free man. And when the whips of the oppressors are broken and their names forgotten and destroyed, free men will be talking and walking under a free star. Yes, we have planted freedom in this earth like wheat. And we have said to the skies above us, a man shall own his own soul. Now here is this man. He is your brother. You are American soul. You can't be on his side, the side of the oppressor. Let Jeepers Stone keep his soul, the soul which doesn't belong to him alone, but to his family, his son, and his country. Gentlemen of the jury, don't let his country go to the
trouble, and we want to keep trouble out of Jersey City, Don. After we heard about the incidents throughout the country and the coming of this concert to Jersey City, I asked our Commissioner of Public Safety, Lawrence Whipple, to look into the matter, and he did make a survey of the situation.
I don't want to sing. I don't want to dance. I don't want to do anything at all that other people think it's fun to do. I don't want to smile. I don't want to laugh. I don't want to show anything at all that other people think it's fun to show. They go their way, I'll go mine. Hanging around all by myself alone with me is fine, yeah. I don't want to run. I don't want to play. I don't want to be with anyone today. That is true, too. I don't want to be with anyone. Nah. And laughing and smiling, that's not for a grouch to do.
You're listening to Giant Space Potato on CFCR 90.5 FM. And from Saskatoon. And that was The Grouch, Oscar the Grouch, from Jim Henson did. Anyway, this is a new show. First one's going to be a little rough. I just have a whole bunch of records that I found that the giant mutated space potato accumulated in its rounds around these parts of this galaxy, this Milky Way. I've got a good. Yeah, I'm just all over the place, but I mean some things kind of make sense. But got some good finds. I'm gonna play this one because, well, it's comedy, and you need a little bit of good rock and roll. Yeah, only on Giant Space Potato, CFCR. Oh, whoa! I'm wearing these glow-in-the-dark alien glasses. They're interesting. Drugs! Okay.
Every action has a cause. The universe exists, therefore it has a cause. It follows God created the universe, therefore he exists.
And yet Spinoza didn't believe in the Holy Trinity.
Spinoza was a Jew.
What's a Jew?
You never saw a Jew. Here, I have some sketches. There are Jews.
No kidding. They all have these horns?
No, this is the Russian Jew. The German Jew has these stripes.
As a new CBer, there are certain things you must remember before you break onto the airways. For instance, there are certain no-nos in the CB community. First and foremost is never to broadcast false information. Citizen band radio shall not be used for any purpose or in connection with any activity which is contrary to federal, state, or local law. It is illegal to use your CB as a sales tool. You may never sell products or charge a motorist in distress for making a help call. CB, like any other broadcast medium, does not allow the use of profanity. It is illegal to boost your transmitting power beyond the legally allowed 4 watts. Never use your CB to transmit music, whistling, sound effects, or any material for amusement or entertainment purposes, or solely to attract attention. In addition to the CB no-nos, there are simple courtesies one should follow. When you break a channel, do not interrupt other users unless...
You don't know me.
You don't know me.
None of you give a darn.
And I don't.
But I want to state, my words are straight.
My words are straight.
And I'll bet my poke they're true.
And
that one of you is a hound of hell. And that one is Dan McGrew.
Then I ducked my head as the lights went out and 2 guns blazed in the dark. And a woman screamed as the lights went up and 2 men lay stiff and stark. Etched on his head and pumped full of lead was dangerous Dan McGrew, while the man from the creeks lay clutched to the breast of the lady that's known as Lou.
These are the simple facts of the case, and I guess I ought to know. They say that stranger was crazed with hooch, and I'm not denying it so.
And welcome back to Giant Space Potato. I'm your host, Giant Space Potato. I'm just hovering out here in deep, deep space. I can see all of you clearly with my mini eyes. And I will be playing some more music and odd bits. Sit back and relax.
Applied imagination is one of the most powerful healing tools that you have at your disposal. There's a technique called guided imagery which releases all the healing benefits stored in your imagination, and this is what you will learn how to use now. Stay as relaxed as possible, and just let your mind follow along as I guide you step by step through a process of relaxing, healing, and reaching your full potential for well-being. Health begins with, and is controlled by, your vital organs. And the process I'm about to teach you is a method of bathing these organs in a cleansing, healing form of light and energy. Your organs work the way they do because of a special life force that we can think of as the spark of life. This energy that makes the heart beat moves from organ to organ in a specific way, along pathways of energy-conductive cells that are found near the surface of your arms and legs. The entire goal of this program is to help you harmonize this energy so that your force of life moves from organ to organ in a balanced way, neither too fast nor too slow, letting your organs function the way they were intended to work. To balance this energy, just follow along with me and let yourself drift as deeply into a peaceful state of relaxation as you can. Imagine now a mass of this vital energy about the size of a light bulb, being housed and contained at the base of your spine, right at the point of the tailbone. I want you to feel, as clearly as possible, this area beginning to get warm, then to tingle slightly as this electric-like force begins to awaken. Now let this force begin moving up your spine. You don't actually have to feel it happening, only imagine it taking place. Now imagine this energy crossing the top of your head, moving down now between your eyes, straight down to the tip of your nose. Now take a long and gentle breath into your lungs, drawing this warm, healing light up through your nostrils, down your throat, and into your lungs. Let it fill your lungs and make them tingle with life, warmth, and energy. Imagine as clearly as possible how that healing energy feels as warmth and light penetrate each fiber, sac, and cell of these 2 vital organs located in the upper part of your chest. Imagine the energy reaching deeper and deeper into these balloon-like organs. actually permeating and penetrating the walls of your organs as this vital force moves into the front of your chest, at the area of the armpits. Now let this clear, bright energy move down the front of your arms, down past the front of your elbows, to the tips of your thumbs. Let this energy now make your thumb tips tingle and glow with warmth and light. Then imagine that healing energy jumping like a spark across the gap between the tips of your thumbs to the tips of the index or pointer fingers. Imagine those now tingling with this vital force of life. Then let that energy flow smoothly up the front of your arms again, finding its own way across your shoulders, up the sides of your neck, across your jaw to the place where the sides of your nostrils join your cheeks. Now imagine that energy being absorbed into your face and gradually moving down to the area of the navel. Now feel that energy reforming itself just below and to the right of your navel, in the area of the appendix. Now let it begin moving up the right side of your abdomen, within the colon or large intestine. Imagine any obstructions or constipated matter being bathed in this clear, warm, healing light and energy. Now let it move across your abdomen toward the left side at the level just above your navel. As it moves, continue to let this healing energy work on any impacted matter it finds, working its way along every cell of the intestinal wall. Now let it move down the left side of the abdomen, stopping briefly, deep in the groin, to work its healing benefits in the area where diverticulitis and other lower bowel diseases so often occur. Now let this healing light move down and out the rectum, warming any hemorrhoids or other rectal disorders. Imagine this warm, tingling energy flowing over your sex organs, then straight up the center of your body, up your chest, up the front of your throat, over your chin. Now let it divide in half and move to a point on either cheek, just below the bottom of each eye. Then let this energy flow down either side of your face, across the sides of your jaw, then down the sides of your neck to your stomach. Let this vital life force now bathe your stomach, which is found just at the bottom of your ribs in the center of your body, in warm, radiant, healing light. Feel that primary organ of digestion sparkle and glow with warmth and wellness. Feel it bring warmth and healing light into the entire center of your body. Now let this energy move down either side of your abdomen, down across your groin, down the fronts of your legs, letting it find its way across the tops of your feet to the tips of the second toes, the ones beside the big toes. Let this energy now make those toe tips tingle with warmth and light. And now imagine that spark of life leaping across to the tips of the big toes and make them tingle with energy. Now feel that energy begin flowing up the inside of either foot, across the inner ankle bones, and up the inside of each leg. Let the energy now cross the insides of your thighs and move across your groin, up the front of your body on either side of the center line to a point just below each armpit. Let this energy now move through your body to your spleen and pancreas area, which is found on the left side of your upper abdomen, just behind the bottom of the rib cage. Now let your vital energy bathe and radiate those two major digestive organs and the glands associated with them. Just imagine that entire area becoming warm, tingling, glowing with healing light. Let the warm brilliance of your life force reach into the deep recesses of these organs and glands. Perhaps you'll even feel a slight release of tension in that part of your body. Now let this life energy move to the center of your chest, to your heart. Feel the area just beneath the center of your breastbone becoming warm and light. Feel your heart tingling with the glow of this awesome force you are now in command of. Imagine it healing and freeing your heart, opening it to become more loving and accepting as any stress and tension in the muscles around it melts away. Feel the power of this energy bathe and massage this central organ of life and health. Now let this energy move back into each armpit, then down the inside of each arm, across the palms to the tips of the little fingers. Let yourself now imagine these fingertips tingling with warmth and energy. Now let this energy move up the back of your arms, up past the inside point of your elbow, and continue up the rear of your armpits, then up and across your shoulders, up the sides of your neck, then across the jawbone, and bury itself in either cheek. Now imagine this healing energy manifesting itself deep in the center of each ear. Let it flow down your throat, in and through your stomach to the small intestine, the digestive organ that fills the center of your abdomen. Now feel this brilliant life force illuminate this long, stringy organ so vital to digestion and the production of blood. Let the radiance seep through each of its countless loops and bends, healing every crease and crevice, warming and relaxing, making the center of your abdomen tingle with life and energy. Now let this energy descend even lower, seeping its way into the area just at the top of your sex organs. This is the urinary bladder. Now feel your life energy warming and healing this bladder and your entire sexual area. Let this warmth continue to expand, making the entire groin and the lymph glands in that area feel warm and alive. Then let this powerful healing force rise again up the frontal center of your body, across your chin, your mouth, over the tip of your nose, and now let it divide and reach into the inside corner of each eye. Let this warm radiance immerse and bathe your eyes with its precious healing powers. Now feel the life force rising up from the inside corner of your eyes to the insides of your eyebrows, then up across the top of your head. Let it reach over the top of your head, then descend down the back of your neck. Now let it move down your back, just to either side of your spine, down the middle of the back, the lower back, down through the buttocks and the backs of the legs. Let it move across the calves to the outside part of the lower legs, and continue down behind the bony bulge of the outer ankle, all the way to the tips of the little toes. Let these toe tips glow with vital energy. Now feel this energy return to the bottom of your foot, somewhere in the middle of the arch. Then let it move up the inside of each foot, up the rear of the foot, past the bony bulge of the inner ankle, up the inside rear portion of the legs, up the backs of the legs, then cross inward, again to the groin, and up past the sexual area. Let it continue up the front of the body, just to either side of the center, to the area just below the bottom of the collarbone. Now feel this energy seep down into your kidneys, which are located deep in your back, just above the level of your waist. Let this warm, clear brilliance illuminate and bathe these two delicate organs with its healing powers. Now let this energy again dissolve and remanifest itself deep in your armpits. Let it move straight down the middle of each arm, past the elbows, over the wrist, all the way to the tips of the middle fingers. Feel these fingers become warm and tingly, almost as if an electric current were passing through them. Now let this energy move up the outside of each arm, across the shoulders, up the back of the neck, across the tops of the ears to the outside tips of either eyebrow. Again, let this healing energy bathe your eyes with its warmth. Feel each side of your face becoming warm and even more relaxed than it is already. Now let this energy flow down either side of your neck one more time, back across your shoulders, and down your back near the outside part. Feel the energy descend along the outside part of your buttocks and continue down the outside of either leg. Let it finish its pathway at the tips of the fourth toes, the ones beside the little toes. Let the fourth toes tingle with warmth and light. And for the final part of your journey along your energy pathway, let the energy move again to the tip of each big toe, Then let it move up the front of your legs, then across the calves to the insides of each leg again, and across either side of the sex organs, then up the outside front of your body. Now let this vital healing energy bury itself in your liver and gallbladder area, which is found just behind and below the bottom of the rib cage on the right-hand side. Feel that entire area becoming warm, glowing, tingling with life and vitality. And for one last time, feel that energy again expand, now making the entire center of your body seem warm and alive. Now let this energy expand even further to your head, your arms, your legs, to your hands and feet. Then let this energy expand beyond the barriers of skin to immerse your entire being in an envelope of brilliant, clear light, expanding even further as a flame surrounds a match. And now let this all-powerful life force gradually return to a point at the base of your spine, ready to rise again for healing and wellness the next time you perform the Jijo Institute Acugenics program. And now let yourself come gently back to consciousness, letting feeling flow back into each part of your body, and let yourself become fully awake, feeling relaxed and well, with health and vitality, fully human, fully conscious, fully alive.
It's very difficult for anybody born since 1914 to realize how profoundly different the world is now from what it was when I was a child. The change has been almost unbelievable. The world where I was young was a solid world, a world where all kinds of things that have now disappeared was thought to be going to last forever.
What do you think the world needs to reach a happier state?
Well, I think there are three things that are needed if the world is to adapt itself to the Industrial Revolution. The troubles we are suffering now are essentially troubles due to adapting ourselves to a new phase of human life, namely the industrial phase. And I think three things are necessary if people are to live happily in the industrial phase. One of these is world government. The second is an approximate economic equality between different parts of the world. And the third is a nearly stationary population. I'd like to say a little about each of those. As to world government, the world government should be, of course, a federal government, leaving a very great deal of freedom to the individual national governments, and only those things controlled by the world government which are absolutely necessary for the avoidance of war. The most important and the most difficult of these is armed forces. All the important weapons of war will have to be in the hands of the international government and of it alone. When that happens, war will become practically impossible. And if war were impossible, mankind could go ahead. If war is not impossible, every advance in scientific technique means an advance in mass murder and is therefore undesirable. But if once world peace were achieved, it would be just the opposite. That's the first point. Now, I come on to the question of approximate economic equality. As things stand at present, Western Europe, and still more the United States of America, have a high standard of life. On the whole, the great majority of mankind live fairly comfortably from a material point of view. Asia, on the other hand, lives in very, very great poverty. So does most of Africa. And the moment people are sufficiently educated to be aware of these facts, the inevitable result is a great development of envy in the poorer parts of the world. That envy is a cause of unrest and inevitably makes world peace precarious. There's only one way of dealing with it, which is to produce approximate economic equality, which of course is a long story, but it can be done. The third point about population is very vital indeed. The food supply of the world tends at present to diminish through the denudation of the soil. It tends, of course, also to increase through various technical advances. But those two about balance, so that on the whole, the food produce of the world does not increase appreciably. Now that means that unless everybody is to be very poor, especially if you have economic equality, unless everybody is to be very poor, there must be not more people to be fed, not many more than there are now. And therefore you've got to get approximate equality of population and approximately stationary population. Otherwise, those parts of the world where the population increases fast will want to go to war with those where it increases slowly.
That brings us precisely to the problem of Asia and what part Asia will play in the immediate future.
Well, Asia, first of all, has risen to the point of education, some Asians have, where it is not prepared any longer to be subservient to the white man. Asia clearly is going to claim equality with the white man, and it's absolutely futile for the white man to resist that claim.
Chapter 32. Ned's robots arrive, and Ned talks to the world.
He tells his robot ship to send the completed 232 2,000-foot-tall civbots. They are to land near 232 of the most populated centers on the globe. Each robot is to represent less than half of 1% of the human population. Ergo, in a world with roughly 7 billion people, each robot represents roughly 30 million people. The largest city in the world at the time has less than 30 million people.
Speaking as of today,
We stand here today at 232 of the largest cities of the world to mark the beginning of the next era in the evolution of your civilization.
We stand here today near 232 of the largest cities of the world to mark the beginning of the next era in the evolution of your civilization. This effect would work better if my megaphone worked, but the battery is dead, unfortunately. Yeah.
It may be hard to believe, but I come from a planet much like Earth in another solar system, about 900 star systems away.
Sit there, look at all those people around you, get acquainted. Have a smoke.
To get back to the warning that I've received, you may take it with however many grains of salt you wish, that the brown acid that is circulating around us is not specifically too good. It's suggested that you do stay away from that. Of course, it's your own trip, so be my guest, but please be advised that there is a warning on that one, okay? Elliot from Harvard. The hitchhikers you picked up need the pills from your car. Please go to the information station right away. Louis Pitnick, your brother is in the Paulsburg police station.
Adjustment 1. Space Bucks.
Zizhang asked Confucius about the virtue of philanthropy. His answer was, "It is the being able to put in practice 5 qualities in any place under the sun." "May I ask, please, what these are?" said the disciple. "They are," he said, "dignity, indulgence, faithfulness, earnestness, kindness. If you show dignity, you will not be mocked. If you are indulgent, you will win the multitude. If faithful, men will place their trust in you. If earnest, you will do something meritorious. And if kind, you will be enabled to avail yourself amply of men's services." You have heard of the 6 words with their 6 obfuscations? They are these 6 virtues, cared for without care for any study about them: philanthropy, wisdom, faithfulness, straightforwardness, courage, firmness. And the 6 obfuscations resulting from not liking to learn about them are, respectively, these: fatuity, mental dissipation, mischievousness, perversity, insubordination, impetuosity. They are adapted to rouse the mind, to assist observation, to make people sociable, to arouse virtuous indignation. They speak of duties near and far: the duty of ministering to a parent, the duty of serving one's prince, and it is from them that one becomes conversant with the names of many birds, and beasts, and plants, and trees. Study you the odes of Zhou and the South, and those of Zhao and the South.
And
the man who
goats,
studies
and
not
goats.
these is, I should say, somewhat in the position of one who stands facing a wall. "Etiquette demands it, so people plead," said he, "but do not these hankerings after jewels and silks indeed demand it? Or it is, the study of music requires it, but do not these predilections for bells and drums require it? They who assume an outward appearance of severity, being inwardly weak, may be likened to low common men. Nay, are they not somewhat like thieves that break through walls and steal?" Again, the plebeian kind of respect for piety is the very pest of virtue.
Listen to Space Potato Giant Mutated. Yeah.
Welcome to the temple. The temple zone on what it is. I went to Nova Scotia last month for about a month and a half. And I stayed in a interesting hostel on the east side on south by Southport Moodin. Only 10 minutes away where I get groceries. Away where Hank Snow Museum is. Because he is from Liverpool. He's from Brooklyn, near Liverpool, Nova Scotia.
Once I was wild as the eagle in the sky, free to love, to live and to die. I roamed this land from the mountains to the sea, brother to the elk, the bear and the deer. Up the rivers, the lakes, and the redwood trees. This was my land, as far as I could see. This will be the last song of our people, the first people in this first world. Now we are going. For you it will be hard, you fault finders and fighters. We are not sorry this first world is past.
The law of the jungle, which is by far the oldest law in the world, has arranged for almost every kind of accident that may befall the jungle people. Till now its code is as perfect as time and custom can make it. But the law was like the giant creeper, because it dropped across everyone's back and no one could escape.
It is currently 2:34 a.m. I'm your host, the giant mutated space potato. All my eyes are open to all.
Buenos días. Buenos días. Señor. ¿Está usted? ¿Cómo está usted? Muy bien. Muy bien. Gracias. Muy bien. Gracias. Perfectamente.
First college in North America, 1636. The year it was first college near Boston, in this place called Everybody and Smee the Goat, just hanging out on location in the Kalahari Desert with my new friends. The old man says.
Lesson 2. Outline for blackboard. Manners at school. Entering and leaving a room. Conduct if accidents occur. Treatment of new scholars. Conduct when visitors are present. Raising hand. Rights of property. Distributing and collecting materials. Conduct at looking glass and drinking place. In relating occurrences, when to speak of oneself.
Don't let me ever catch you doing that again.
Why, it don't hurt.
Yes, it does hurt. And don't do it again.
You make him go faster.
No, Daniel, they're not race horses. They're two good old friends of mine. I call them Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Most dependable team for long journeys. Then I've got another one called Missouri Compromise. And a Supreme Court. A fine, dignified horse, though you have to push him on every now and then.
Golly, I'd like to see all your horses.
Maybe you can sometime. I'm a farmer, you know, and I love to show my farm. But the thing I'd like to show you most, you'll have to see for yourself.
What's that, sir?
Well, it's high, and it's wide, and it goes a long ways. There's a wind blowing through it. It has a blue roof over it. It's the hills and the rivers flowing to the south, and the new states growing in the west.
Anybody can see that.
No, that's where you're wrong, Mr. Stone. Some people live and die without ever seeing it. They can't see the country for the money in their pockets. They think their state is the country, or the way they live is the country. And they're willing to split the country because of it. I hope you'll meet them all when you've grown up. You'll meet the fire eaters and the Circassian beauties. They're part of the fair, to be sure. But if we had to depend upon them in a permanent sort of way, this country would have stopped at the Allegheny Mountains.
But it didn't stop. I know it didn't stop. Granny told me it didn't.
No, sirree, it didn't. And it won't, no matter what happens. As long as the people at the fair believe in freedom and union. Well, giddy up, Constitution. We gotta be getting on, Mr. Stone.
Faster, faster.
Young man, I think you've got this coming to you. Didn't I tell you not to do that again? Huh?
Hello, Daniel Webster. Hello, Black Daniel.
Are you Mr. Webster?
Yes, I'm Mr. Webster, your godfather. Now you run along and behave yourself.
I'm sorry, Mr. Webster.
I expected to see all you folks over at Jaber Stone for the housewarming party. I hope you didn't wait for me to lead the parade.
Well, not exactly, Mr. Webster. We wanted to have a chat with you before we go to the party. Would you mind having a drink with us?
Would I mind having a drink with you, gentlemen? What a question to ask Daniel Webster.
Lesson 3 of Lessons on Manners for Home and School Use.
I hope you'll forgive me if I don't get up, but I'm terribly tired. Because all the best sellers have corpses in them.
Why, that's downright silly. Most cellars do not have bodies in them.
But of course they have, Mary.
You certainly don't make a house sound homey at all. Why don't you talk about the kitchen with its good, warm smells of homemade food? Yes, and while you're at it, you should mention good food tastes better.
Yum.
And now, friends, if you're willing to gamble with your peace of mind, put out the lights and listen to Death by Scripture. It's an original radio play by that old gravedigger, Robert Newman. Yes, and our star tonight is Stefan Schnabel, who plays the role of Stefan.
All right.
The place is China, somewhere near the outskirts of Shanghai. A man-made wasteland ravaged and devastated by war.
There is much that I can remember.
Such as what, Stefan?
The first one. The greatest one. Many lifetimes ago. The garden with a wall around it. The torchlight bright on their breastplates and helmets. And his face. Then the hill. The place of skulls. The earth shaking.
Stop it, Stefan. Whatever it is you're talking about, it's horrible.
Horrible, yes. But true. Those I can remember. I can't ever forget. But what I can't remember is now. Who I am, what I must do, and why. It will be horrible, too. As bad as the others, but
Look, Stefan, you're a sick man. Now, you've got to rest. You've got to stop thinking, brooding. I'm going to get you some medicine. That'll help you to sleep. Then when you're strong again, we'll take you away from here.
Sleep. I told you I do not sleep. I cannot sleep.
No?
I am glad to know that you would like to learn Italian.
Who is that? Who is there? No! No, no, don't!
Dear Sir, your check in settlement of our statement of January 31
right there.
Was received today. We thank you
You don't have
for
another
your prompt payment. Upon checking our accounts receivable, we find that our statement did not include the invoice dated January 15, 1953, in the amount of $15.
No one will believe it.
Our bookkeeping department made an error in omitting it from the statement.
The last one.
If it does pull through, he even holds out for a couple of hours.
This invoice,
I believe
we are adding it to the February statement and want you to apply our regular 2% 10-day terms.
His pulse is still strong and there are no signs of shock.
I'll stay with him for a while. You go get some sleep.
No, I'm all right. I'd like to stay until we are sure
If there is any misunderstanding about this invoice, please call us at Plaza 9, 1430, extension 178, and we will be happy to discuss this matter.
Why are you looking at me like that?
This will not cause you any inconvenience. Very truly yours.
I never had any right to be alive. But I am.
Because Lipton's always taste fresh and tangy. Never flat.
Hey, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here with that.
Each word will be pronounced clearly and distinctly in perfect Italian.
Italiano.
Italiano?
Italiano.
Oh, do I desire Italiano? A what?
Lei desidera parlare inglese?
Would I prefer if you spoke English? Sure, no problem. But I'm trying to...
Lei desidera parlare inglese?
Well, trying to speak Italian.
Sì, signore. Io desidero parlarlo.
Yes. What's that? Did you...
Sì, signore.
Yes.
Io desidero parlarlo.
Yeah, I'll just have zero palato. I'm good.
Parla spagnuolo?
I've never heard of that language.
Parla spagnuolo?
Sì, ed anche inglese.
Anche? Are you speaking German?
Sì, ed anche inglese.
Don King.
Now start speaking Italian yourself. Just listen to
Now,
Signorina Doria
speak
and me.
Italian yourself.
And as we pause, repeat each sentence word for word as you now hear it spoken. Imitate our pronunciation and inflection as closely as you can.
As closely
Ready?
as you can. Yep.
Io desidero.
Well, I can't sound like woman.
Che desidera?
Che desidera?
Io desidero parlare italiano.
Yes.
Chi desidera parlare italiano?
Chi tagliare el piano? Okay, I'm gonna
Lei desidera parlare inglese?
The space potato is starting to
Sì, signore.
learn Italian.
Io desidero parlarlo.
Io desidero
Parla spagnuolo?
Spagnolo?
Sì, ed anche inglese.
Play the record a few times and you will soon learn it by heart. It is very important to play the record over and over because you learn by listening. Notice how you improve each time you play the record. The lessons begin immediately with everyday subjects related to the basic needs of people. The family, meals, clothing, shopping, traveling, social and business affairs, etc. These topics are of such keen interest to the student that his lessons are enjoyable, not drudgery. You learn almost without effort.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get out of here. The giant space potato has the dark side of the moon potato. No.
And I am a a child once more, reborn as just a small potatoes. Just small potatoes. Oh, yes, I have been reborn. The giant space potato has become... Oh, the cat wants out of the window. He's a fan of the show. I think in the building across from me, there's a kitty cat. He's like, yeah, well, right on. Oh, okay, this song is for you little cat. I wanna play some music with some heat. I was gonna play some this. Well, maybe okay, place here. Oh boy, where's the songs when you want the song to? Well, I was gonna play. I might as well play. Oh yes, I found something. Okay, I'm looking for this song here, and I believe it is in this folder. Yes, it's in the giant space potato folder, of course. It would be the... Oh, okay, here we go. Well, I'm gonna stop this little 45 from going around and around and around. It's nicely hypnotic. Wait, here's the file. Let's drag this over there. Put this there, up there,
I have a wonderful idea, Henry. After dinner, why don't we stop by and visit with Wyatt? I hate to think of his being alone at home tonight.
Doesn't he have anything to read?
Well, I don't know, dear. But you know, nothing's more important to a teenage boy than his grandparents.
We'll drop by.
begin immediately with everyday subjects related to the basic needs of people. Family, meals, clothing, shopping, traveling,
What we are looking at is good and evil, right and wrong. A new world order. A new world order. A new world order. A new world order. We're not about to make that same mistake. A new world order. 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 A new world order.
I know it. I just know it. I can't let it get me.
Has made a lot of gold.
What's that? What's that sound?
Right now. This is
my God. Under the door.
He does this. And people give him money. Because he's on welfare.
What is that?
He's just doing it.
It looks like one of them octopoidal creatures. A shrinking ooze. That's it. Octoplasm.
It's a gold mine.
They say it come from way out there. Come here every now and then. Come here to Gurnham.
It'll never come back. It's all just a memory.
I'm just gonna go and lay down now. Did you hear that? Did you hear that sound?
It never
What is that?
really existed.
I never heard that around here. I bet that's one of the devil's familiars. That's what it is. It's one of them devil familiars. I heard about them. I heard how the old ladies used to use them cats. Use them toes.
Just pretend you don't see him. Make it violent. If he looks at you, just keep staring straight ahead. And just pray to God that he doesn't grab a knife.
What's the matter with these boys?
He's
He's
so far out of his fucking mind. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Just stare straight ahead. When he gets active like this, it'll only last a few minutes. He'll calm down. But don't look at him. Whatever you do, don't make eye contact.
You ain't gonna do this now, are you?
You hear those voices?
No.
Those are real voices.
You go sit down, shut up like a good boy.
Oh my God, why did you leave him? He's gonna get that knife. Don't give him. He's not there. He'll calm down in a few minutes. I don't know, maybe you won't. You can't tell what he's gonna do next. He's unpredictable. And whatever you do, he senses fear. He knows if you're afraid.
The people we eschew strongest who believe that they come into the restaurant and you're supposed to do something other than open up, be open for 32 years, cook the food. I reject that totally. I do more than they do, and they can go fuck themselves. There was a guy there who I kicked out 5 years ago, owned the place. He came in with a group of 6, and I kicked him out. And he says, there's no one else in the restaurant. I said, no, you're in the restaurant. When you go, then there'll be nobody else in the restaurant. Well, I said, everybody who's a regular customer knows you don't come in with more than 4. I said, the fact you didn't know means you weren't a regular customer. Who the fuck needs you? I said, I should have to explain to you why we have the rule? Do I have to explain to you how when you make a rule, you have to try hard to enforce it?
Looks like I'm stuck here inside this giant space whale potato thing. Spaceship made out of a potato, sort of, I guess. It's like James and the Giant Potato in space. Yeah. Yep. Space grasshoppers. There's a space grasshopper that's a friend of mine. He's actually, I don't know what the hell it is. Anyway, it's been nice doing the show again. I'll be here this... Woo. I'll be here for this winter. So, I'll just be doing my show Monday nights at... Monday nights at midnight on CFCR 90.5 FM. Used to be foraging for insects, but that was retired last year. Thought I was going to be in Nova Scotia this winter. That didn't pan out. But I'm back, babies. I'm back! Space potato thing. Reincarnated, sort of. Okay, see you next week!
CFCR 90.5 FM, your desert island radio station.